We can all be sensitive to criticism, especially when you're dealing with a narcissistic individual who is continually chipping away at you, destroying your self-esteem, destroying your confidence. And when dealing with narcissistic people, in order to protect yourself, you might begin to act in narcissistic ways towards that person, because the narcissist is trying to provoke you into acting like them so that they can blame you and so that they can feel better about themselves. We can sometimes listen to constructive feedback and it can hit a nerve. We have to learn from that experience. Sometimes our own ego needs to sort of rethink things, and constructive feedback allows us to do this. When it comes to narcissistic individuals, they do not appreciate any form of criticism. They are simply not interested. They are highly sensitive to criticism. They want to be perceived as superior to everybody else. When it comes to narcissists, there's lots of different subtypes. The grandiose and the fragile often act very differently when it comes to being criticised. And when it comes to a grandiose narcissist, they can often act very indifferent towards criticism. So if you try to give them some form of constructive feedback, they might have that dismissive attitude. The narcissist can potentially just shrug it off as irrelevant or unimportant. So when you go to approach them about some form of error, they'll just turn around and claim those details don't matter. The overall thing was absolutely amazing. It was incredible. Or they can claim something for themselves. So if you suggest that if you're driving along and they throw litter out of the window and you're like, that's a bit, come on, we can put things in a bin, it just makes things untidy. And they'll not particularly say anything, yet when they're meeting a stranger, they'll go up to the stranger and say, I'm the kind of person that would never litter, even though they just did it on the drive over. They will go all out to deflect. They'll redirect the focus onto other people's faults, other people's mistakes. So after they've been criticised for being late because they are repeatedly late, they'll turn around and just say, well, you're always late too, so why is it a big deal when I am, even when you're never late? And you try and defend that you're never late, and there's going to be a gaslighting, toxic conversation of word salad from the narcissist, and you're going to be left feeling very confused. Minimalizing, downplaying the criticism as trivial or insignificant in some way. So if a narcissist is criticised for making a hurtful comment towards somebody else, they might just simply respond with, oh, come on, it was just a joke. Lighten up. I was just trying to make a joke. You can't take a joke. And as we need humour in life, it's very difficult to recognise whether someone is just being sarcastic and trying to lighten the mood, or if someone is trying to destroy you, and then when you try to speak up, they're trying to gaslight you. They feign that ignorance. They pretend they didn't hear or they didn't understand the criticism. When someone points out their mistake, they might just switch off and not listen to you and pay no attention. Or they might say, what mistake? I didn't see any mistake. Or they twist it back onto you and say, well, the mistake that you made. Or they turn around and claim, don't talk about your mother like that. Don't talk about your father like that. And they shift it onto somebody else. Mocking. They will laugh off criticism or make jokes out of it. And we're all able to do this. With a narcissist, it's a repeat pattern of behaviour. So when you explain to them how their behaviour is inappropriate or hurtful in some way, they laugh and say, oh, you're too sensitive. Learn to take a joke. When it comes to narcissistic individuals, they don't seem to develop out of toddlerhood. The silent treatment. where they just simply switch off and ignore the critic completely to show that it doesn't affect the narcissist. When it has, that's why they've fallen silent on you, because you've offended them. So after being confronted about their rudeness, a narcissist will simply turn away and start a different conversation with somebody else, impress a stranger, ignore the comment. Arrogance. They will act superior and suggest the critic is simply jealous or inferior to them. The critic is jealous, envious, bitter. When criticised about something, if you criticise them about their work and give them that constructive feedback, they'll just claim, oh, you just don't see my vision, you're not on my level. If you speak up about how they mistreated you and cheated on you, they just accuse you of being jealous and wanting them back.